What's up, guys? So, we're here in the first episode of the Gymbrex podcast. I'm here today with my buddy Thomas.
What's up, all the sick hands out there?
So, he's my co host today. And so we're going to be sipping on some protein and talking about steroids.
Always balling, boys.
Yes, sir. Their benefits, how do they affect your body, how to use them, and all types of statistics on steroids and everything. Today we're going to cover. We're going to be touching a little bit on the scientific side of steroids. And let's get started. What do you think about it, Tomas?
Let's get it, boy.
Okay, so let's start with what are steroids? When you Google steroids, the first thing that pops up on your screen is a steroid is a biologically active organic compound with 4 rings arranged in a specific molecular configuration. Steroids have two principal biological functions as important components of cell membranes, which alter membrane fluidity and signaling molecules. So that's a lot to process. So we're gonna simplify it and explain to you what types of steroids we're gonna be touching in today. So as you know, Thomas, we have the clinical steroids, right? And we're gonna be touching more on the sports side. Like when people talk about steroids, they think about those, which are anabolic focused steroids.
A professional way.
Yeah, of course. But so the thing is, when it comes to steroids, who are the people that use them? You know, like it's always the professional sportsmen that use them.
Big guys.
Yeah, like
big pals.
Big buff guy. And you know that not only steroid users are not always that big dudes, like buff dudes. So you can have skinny dudes using steroids like cyclists. So steroids it's a very generic term for all the branches of steroids and their uses that they have. So another definition I have here is anabolic steroids are synthetically produced variants of the naturally occurring male hormone testosterone. So here we're talking about more of the side of the testosterone variants and derivatives of steroids. So both males and females have testosterone produced in their bodies, males in testes and the females in the ovaries and other tissues. So what do you think about this, Tomas? So we men and women produce testosterone. Of course, men produce more. But do you think a woman should take testosterone to increase their muscle mass? And do you think it's right?
I mean, it always depends, right? The situation, the body, metabolism.
And females that want to turn into men, they will normally take testosterone, and males that want to turn into females take estrogen. So it's the male and female hormone. So they're still steroids, but we're not talking about the sports steroids. So you can, when it comes to your hormonal profile in your body, it's super important. Like, it's super important because your hormones is what sets you up. Like, hormones play with your mind and everything. So hormones are really important. It's really important to have a balanced hormonal profile in your body. Otherwise, you're gonna have so much problems, physical problems and mental problems. So why do people use steroids? Why do you think people use steroids?
To get bigger, dude.
But what are the other points you would think someone would use steroids?
Increase their hormones.
Well, technically. So why do people use steroids? People who use steroids use them to give them a competitive advantage on, let's say, a basketball game. Like in the NBA, many players use GH, growth hormone, to recover faster on injuries. Like, it's a very common thing. Basketball players would always get like knee injuries and ankle injuries. So steroids also enhance your physical strength, and that's a use in, like, overall use. It's in all sports. What?
That's the whole point of it.
Yeah,
Almost.
of course. And well, steroids increase your lean body mass, and yeah. So as I said previously, it reduces your recovery time between, let's say, workouts or games, and it increases your endurance as a side effect. And yeah, so let's touch in. I would like to touch in, Thomas, on the different types of steroids. And I have this graph here from More Plays, More Dates, Derek. It's a very big YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm going to touch in 3 different types of derivatives of steroids, in the sports steroids. So firstly we have DHT, dihydrotestosterone, which are DHT derivative, which we would find masterone, also known as drostanolone. We will find primobolan, Anavar, Anadrol, Winstrol, Proviron, and also we will find Superdrol and DHB. So these are very common steroids you would find, like people use them and combine them and make cycles of. So DHT derivatives will help in your progression through puberty, and they are more androgenic derivatives, and I'm going to explain later the difference between androgens and anabolic effect. So yeah. Then we have testosterone derivatives, which would include equipoise, dianabol, halostine, and triginabol. So for you who are an amateur listening to our podcast, it's very, it's like a different language I'm speaking. But I'm trying my best to simplify things and make you understand steroids. So I know it's a very complex topic. So testosterone, when you inject testosterone to your body, like testosterone is a naturally occurring hormone, and when you inject testosterone, it aromatizes via the enzyme aromatase, and it produces estradiol and cardioprotection. What happens to the excess of testosterone? The excess of testosterone turns into estrogen, and that's not good. Because yeah, you're having a lot of testosterone in your body, you're more manly, but why would I want more estrogen in my body? Of course you want some amount of estrogen in your body, but not so much, because then you can have side effects like
men growing teeth, right?
Yeah, like
that's how it look like.
Yeah, like the development of gyno, like that's not something you want while using. And yeah, like side effects of acne, and yeah, it's so complex, and it's really hard to find a sweet spot to not have like negative side effects or unwanted side effects of steroids. And yeah, like the gyno example is so good. So then we have the 19-nortestosterone derivatives, also known as nandrolone. Not many people know what's 19-nortestosterone. And here we have the more known steroids, trenbolone, the trenbolone sandwiches. Yeah, these are compounds that are really dangerous. I don't know if you have heard of like those guys that go like become like psychos in trenbolone.
Yeah,
it's so hard,
like, especially on teens, right?
Yeah, like teens using trenbolone, like it's so crazy.
Teen usage.
Like the teen usage of trenbolone is
especially in the USA, right?
Yeah.
That's why teenagers are so big there.
No, but I was reading the other day an article on on obesity in the U.S. Like there's kindergartners have obese kindergartners. Like, are you out of your mind? I think obesity shouldn't exist. Like overweight or obesity.
Like they got a big problem there, right?
Yeah, it's so difficult, and this all comes to parenting and all the processed foods, like saturated foods that you sell on the market. Like when I go to the market, the first thing I go, like when I check out a product, I turn the product around and see the table of contents, because I really don't trust processed foods, and I don't eat like trash food. Like I always do my best to eat at home and cook my own meals. I don't know if you try to like eat healthy or something.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, and well, coming back to
what a piece of graph. Shout out for Eric. Lots of love, dude.
And yeah, and coming back to the graph, I have here testosterone, also known as ment, right? But these are like, and other nandrolone derivatives would be stranabol, which are like more exotic steroids. Like not many people know about them, and the thing is, like, when it comes to steroids, all of these steroids were firstly made like for a use, like a clinical use. Like Trenbolone was made for women back in the 90s, 80s, and that's when bodybuilders started like taking it, and yeah, you had the big jumps of Trenbolone, and also going back to the DHT, like compounds like Anadrol or Anavar are more refined androgenic compounds, which will like that's lessening the androgenic side effects. Like you wouldn't have so much hair growth or voice deepening, and that was used for like kids or women patients that cannot tolerate like an excess of testosterone in their bodies. So yeah, it's a very, very complex topic, and to find your sweet spot is very, very difficult. And well,
All variety of things, right?
yeah, and yeah. So coming back to how to use steroids, like how do you apply them? So you can, as you know, Thomas, you can take steroids orally. That's why you can go on.
Yeah, like some anabolic steroids are taken orally, like others are injected.
And yeah, so you can go on. You can Google search now. You that are listening to us, you can Google on Amazon like steroid, like SARMs or RAD 140, and you can find.
And you will find them.
Yeah, it's.
You will find them.
And what is impressive is like the how you find them with ease. It's like so
they're
easy.
so accessible.
Yeah, and well, those are the oral compounds, and you can also find and well, the most common ones are the injectable steroids, which are injected intramuscularly, and yeah, and others have gels, creams, and yeah, like you can find everything on Amazon, and
Let's take a look.
Yeah, you can see like here like
steroids. Oh look, Wi-Fi steroids.
What is
50
that?
bucks.
What is that, dude? Oh no, that's a router. You can here like animal stack. Look. Natural hormone booster supplement Tribulus. Oh, this is like more of a Tribulus. There's also, what was the name of it? It was Turkesterone. Like, those are animal plant steroids, and I think if you're gonna take steroids, like you're just a natty if you take plant-based steroids. Like they are not steroids.
That's a joke, bro.
Yeah, it's stupid, honestly. And yeah, so when it comes to injectables, obviously you use an intramuscular syringe, and you can inject either on your shoulders, either on your
leg,
glutes, or your quads. Yeah, and I usually say it's not. I do not recommend injecting in your quads because like if
you do it yourself.
Yeah, the thing is you do it yourself, and you can have some accidents, and one wrong move injecting on your quads, like the next day you won't be able to stand up. Like you won't be able to stand up, and yeah. And well, when it comes to glutes, what it's recommended is to split your glutes in like 4 quadrants, and you do not inject in the lower ones because there's the asiatic nerve, I think it's called, and you mess that up, you're trashed. And yeah, and then your shoulders, pretty much, it's simple. And what I've seen, my mom takes GH, growth hormone, and what I've seen her doing, it's on the stomach. Usually on the mornings I wake up and she's like on my bathroom injecting because she saves her GH on my fridge. Yeah, I have a fridge in my room, and I see like her injecting into her stomach, and I'm like, what?
Shut up around.
But yeah, like it's very simple, but you have to like the theory is very simple, but you have to take care on
Very
practice.
seriously, dude.
Yeah. So, how does it affect your organism? That's a very very common question. Wow,
Here's where science happen.
before taking steroids, and yeah, so the side effects, like what you can cause is like
Well,
fluid
you can have, like,
retention, causing swelling in your lower legs, high,
high
blood,
blood pressure.
Like the three vital organs that steroids affect are your heart, your kidneys, and your liver. So those are vital organs that if they fail, you're dead.
I mean,
dead.
your stomach will also upset.
Yeah, and problems with mood swings, like those are coming more into the psychoactive.
With memory too.
Yeah, and that's coming more into the psychoactive side effects of steroids. And you have mood swings, you have memory loss, behavior, and yeah, confusion, delirium. I've heard also you can develop mania, and I think it was psychosis, and yeah, so side effects, organ stress, brain development. Like before taking steroids, like I would recommend. I do not take steroids. I go to the gym, I work out and everything, but I do not take steroids because I will wait until I'm totally developed, until like the age of 25, where I'm stable. I have a fully mature brain before taking any compound, because it really plays with your brain, like, and you can have permanent brain alterations, and that will affect in your full maturation the development of your brain. And some side effects are increased impulsivity and aggression, and statistics show that 60% of users of steroids show and have felt these side effects, and it's also known as roid rage.
There's like, imagine using steroids while being a teenager. That
Yeah.
should be crazy.
Yeah, and yeah, that's that it's really really dangerous, and
Really complex.
and I would recommend, if you are going to take steroids, do it with some with a professional by your side with medical backup, because like you can really trash your body, and you have to take care. Like, it's only one body that you have, and if you really love fitness and working out, you would not like to end up in a bed with liver cancer for the rest of your life. So yeah, and another thing I wanted to touch a little bit on is the, how do you say it, the cortisol block. No.
Dude.
Another thing I want to touch on is the difference between anabolic and androgenic side effects. So, as you know, anabolic effects are what most bodybuilders are looking for in steroids. It's the muscle growth, like basically getting bigger, and
Strength.
yeah, and the anabolic side effects, like the science behind the side effects of anabolic steroids are basically, let's say on your bicep you have, let's say, two
Receptors.
two receptors of protein, cell receptors. It's just an example. Like, you have more than two receptors in your bicep, and you work out and your body absorbs that protein, it synthesizes it, and you build muscle, because protein is your building blocks for building muscle. And
Like, they're equal to more receptors.
yeah, when you take steroids, your body changes everything. Like,
Completely.
everything in your body changes when you take steroids. Like, your genes you're genetically modified. Like, even your sperm, it changes. That's why you see on, like,
what do you think about the fact that using steroids increases your appetite for sex?
Well, it depends on the compound, because if you have to, like some steroids won't increase as much your estrogen as some others, but
Right.
yeah, depending on the compound, like trenbolone will, so like it will increase your drive for sex so much, so much.
Yeah, like you can get.
And you see, like you see those crazy stories in like Reddit and stuff. Like you see these guys that they are totally down bad. Like I have nothing against fat chicks, but like these guys on trend will generally get down with anyone, like anyone. I also saw like an article on this guy that said trend was turning him gay. Like it was so crazy. Like, and yeah, I saw a video of Derek explaining this, and he talks about like how your drive for sex will increase, and you know, like I think porn is the most terrible thing in the world, like because I think porn will damage your brain, and when and lose your, like when you're with a real woman and the real deal, like
Yes,
you won't get. And I say it like personal experience, like I've had this, and that's when I realized like porn is so bad for you and your mental health that I stopped watching porn. But yeah, it's so like when you're in trend, your drive for sex is so big that you start looking like for so like things that won't turn, like the normal porn won't turn you on, like, and you will go looking for on like for so disturbing
strange things.
Yeah, it's so disturbing things that it's crazy.
You start degenerating.
Yeah, it's degenerate. In reality, that's degenerate.
Yeah, it's pervert.
And but yeah, like I don't know. Like, do you watch porn? Do you still watch porn nowadays?
Yeah, I mean like 3 times a day, maybe.
No, that's too much, dude.
No, like that's like, the minimum.
No. But let's be honest. Like,
let's be honest.
Porn?
Like, I don't have a rule with me saying that I don't watch it, but I don't watch it at all. Like, it's like anything, like watching TV.
But like, do you still masturbate?
Yeah, I fap.
Okay, so I've been trying to, like, I do not masturbate like for a month now, and I've been like on these streaks of 1 month, 2 month, and I think the benefits are truth. Like NoFap has a very good effect on my well-being. Maybe some are placebo, maybe some are not, but I think it's very good. Like NoFap, like personally, I don't think like masturbation on males. Like I know a lot of friends that cannot control it, and it's very sad. Like masturbation should be a choice, something for your own pleasure, and like it should not be a necessity. So I think masturbation is good, but not in excess, and control like your body. And if you cannot not fap, we have a problem. And if you want to do semen retention, I recommend a lot the dopamine detox. It's very good. I think it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. It helped me focus a lot, and yeah. So
coming back, I mean, I rarely fap. Like you're on a streak, like you control that.
Yeah, and it also involves like your willpower and like how much control over your mind you have.
Yes,
and,
yes.
And I think that's what builds a man. So
yes, yeah. Like
coming back to the steroids thing.
Come on, I don't do it because it's boring. It becomes boring. Like if you're addicted to fap, you have a problem, dude. Like it's boring. Like, I don't do it because it's boring.
It's sad. Well, coming back to the steroids thing, the steroids topic, I want to talk a little bit about the science behind steroids. And yeah, anabolic steroids, you know, the steroids that make you build muscle, like stimulate muscle tissue to grow and bulk up in response to training, and by mimicking the effect of naturally produced testosterone on the body. That's a Google definition. Here I can read you another one. When taken in higher doses than the amount of your body produces, this means testosterone, Steroids reduce redness and swelling, inflammation. This can this can help with inflammatory conditions such as asthma and asthma. This is talking about the benefits of taking steroids while being natural, and steroids can also reduce the activity of the immune system, which is the body's natural defense and illness, defense against illness and infection. So, I think, like, you always see like people saying that anabolic steroids can remain in your body like from months for months, and that's why I recommend before like finishing your cycle, like when you finish your cycle, do not jump into PCT, like post cycle therapy, like right then and now, because you still have the compound. Like just because you stop taking the compound doesn't mean like your body's totally clean.
Yeah, like
you
take
have to
it
wait.
easy, don't rush.
You have to wait a couple of
Months.
of no months but weeks. Get your blood work. Like if you're not getting your blood work and you're starting a cycle, you should not be starting a cycle. You have to get your blood work done before your cycle, during your cycle, and after your cycle. Otherwise, like you're gonna mess up. It's really hard for that. So, as we talked about the side effects, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the statistics on steroid use.
Oh.
And so this will also, like, on the next episode we will touch a little bit of Hollywood and the effects on mental health of teens.
Hey, don't miss that.
Yeah, of course. Like, don't miss that episode. It's going to be so good.
It's gonna be dope.
So so the teenager use of steroids in high school.
In high school in
like
the USA.
Here we have a study like
They
here.
chart like
Look,
various students
studies
have been conducted and generally reflect the findings a youth risk and a behaviors surveillance system study, which estimated that among U.S. high school students, 4.9% of males and 2.4% of females have used anabolic steroids at least once in their lives. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a very high number, like, and
Right, like-
we're just talking about like high schoolers. Like, imagine the amount of people who have previously used steroids, and it's so complex, and people should think twice before using steroids. And I think the reason why people use steroids is because of the effects the media has in the adolescent mind. And like, the reason why a lot of teenagers use steroids is to achieve a certain physique, a certain type of beauty standard, and that's really harsh on the mind. And so
Well, like, look, let's see the average students in the USA.
It's-
What is the average in public school size? The average public school size enrollment is of, look,
527 students according to the data from 2018. That would mean up to 3
like
students.
that means
from the average.
if they're like more than 6%, they're like 7.3% of students,
Use
males and
steroids.
females. That would be like
Man, I don't know how my calculator here.
no. Look,
So
let's say they're just 500.
like about 500 students. So
There will be 35 students using steroids in that school.
35 students.
35,
So that's a big number.
dude.
Like, how many do you think, what do you think is the
Just in
number?
your high school.
No. What do you think about the number of students using steroids in our school?
I think no one, dude. Just
No,
you.
No, shut up. No, I think there's some people, like, I have some people in mind, maybe about like 2 people, but I think here in Bolivia, like, the use of steroids is a little bit more chill.
No,
I think
they don't know.
like, the thing is, you really don't know who's on gear and who's not on gear, so you cannot tell, like, unless you get their blood work. And yeah, so getting on to the like who uses steroids. So here's the majority of steroid users are non-athlete weightlifters, like male weightlifters in their 20s or 30s.
You're young.
Yeah, and only about 22% of anabolic steroid users started as teenagers. That was what I was talking about, like people starting like young, and also anabolic steroid using is less common among females, but that doesn't mean they don't use it. But
Yeah.
is less people desire that extreme masculinity, like less females desire that muscular body, and like the female beauty standard is more likely achievable naturally.
That's not as big as.
Yeah, like it's not as exaggerated as the male side of things. And the thing is with steroids, like males are who are more likely to use steroids tend to have a poor self-esteem, higher depression rates, and more suicide attempts. And as I said, they have poor knowledge on their
Topic.
on the topic, and that can cause a lot of health issues. And yeah, so another thing nobody talks about, like getting to the dark side of steroids, is where are, like people say, like in the fitness industry say, like where are the bodies, like where are the dead people, like by the use of steroids. The thing is, nobody talks about it. And
Yeah, that's completely taboo.
yeah, and nobody talks about it, and no, because it's not famous people dying. It's like your average teenager or a normal dude in your neighborhood, like that is taking gear and probably died because of it. And this also brings into the topic of your tolerance and how your body reacts to the gear. So just because you take steroids doesn't mean you're going to be the next Mr. Olympia. Like the people, like the men you see stepping on stage are the best and the elite bodybuilders, the elite, like they're superhumans. Why? Because not only does their body react so good to steroids and build so much mass, but their bodies also tolerate steroids so good. And there's people that would take steroids like on their first cycle, and their organs shut down because their organs are the tolerance of their organs it wasn't that good. And yeah, that's a very common thing, and that's when your organs cannot take the additional stress. And environmental factors also come into place, like have you been drinking, and do you have a previous cardiovascular diseases, or yeah, like you have to take in mind everything, like all of these points before starting your first cycle. And how do you feel on gear? Like people who take gear, I've seen like those stories of Trend the movie, like, it's a Reddit post, but they say that they feel powerful, they feel dominant, they feel more masculine, they feel energetic, but
They feel good.
but when you're on gear, you you're really prone to having anxiety attacks. You're really prone
that's
into
right.
like being pissed off like with ease, and mood swings, and you can even like to
Yeah, you can get
like
really
the
angry.
most petty things are motive to like bringing out the fists. And yeah,
Yeah, like you can get pissed off for the most
yeah,
smallest
like
thing.
it's me like taking, like, let's say forgetting something at my house, like that it was yours, and like you get so pissed off and you punch me in the face, like
Yeah.
it's so crazy.
Yeah, you can't control it.
Yeah, the thing is, when you're on gear, you're so focused in your world, and you think you are the only one right.
It comes naturally.
Yeah, and you become this
You're popping hormones.
narcissistic. You become this narcissistic douchebag that cannot see the other point of views. And yeah, so it's a lot of things before, like, you have to take in mind before taking steroids. And
A lot of factors to take in consideration.
yeah, and well, I think we could wrap up this episode. It's been how many, like 40 minutes. And
40 minutes.
yeah,
dude.
like today we talked about steroids. Oh, one last point I wanted to touch is, what do you think about the use of steroids in competitions, and let's say NBA or world, like on football? And what do you think about like the use of steroids? Because I think personally, as like when I watch, let's say, an NBA match, I watch it for entertainment. Like, I know I'm not that good. I know I'm not gonna make it to the NBA, but I want to watch it for entertainment. And I think steroids shouldn't be banned from competitions, because like all of these players like have money, and their teams have money, and they have medical backup. And I think when I watch like an NBA match, I want to see like the best of the best, the elite superhumans playing against each other. And I don't want to see normal people watching. Like, I don't want to watch normal people playing. And that's why I think like steroid use should be legal in competition and competitively, and in the Olympics and everything. Like, I don't want to watch the average Joe playing basketball. You know, what do you think about that? Like, do you think it should be legal?
Look, like, should not be legal, but I appreciate the normal dudes playing,
Yeah,
sports.
but for that I would go like outside to the park and watch like the neighborhood kids playing.
Yeah, that, like, I would divide them, like, steroids competitions and normal competitions. I would not mix them up, because I think it's unfair.
Yeah, like the thing is, like, not everyone wants to take steroids, and yeah, it's like natural bodybuilding and enhanced bodybuilding. I think that would be a great option. Like,
Yeah, like, honestly, I go more like for the natural bodybuilding.
so you're more like
natural
prone to
way.
natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, I disagree.
Like,
with
for
that.
example, I wouldn't use steroids.
Like,
Maybe at any point of my life. Like, I haven't think about it, but
But like when you're an adult, would you use steroids if you like get into the gym and start lifting and start getting enthusiastic about lifting?
I would go for starting natural and see
Yeah.
how things go. If I really can't get to the point I want, or I like being natural, then I would start thinking. And
But the thing is, you cannot. You will never get to that point that brings body dysmorphia into the mix.
like,
but that would be a topic for
like
the
the
next
biggest point
episode.
possible.
Yeah, that would be a topic for the
Yeah.
next episode. We are going to be talking about Hollywood and how it affects your brain. We're going to be talking about diseases like anorexia, orthorexia, and bulimia. And, of course, body dysmorphia, vigorexia. So,
Erectile dysfunction too.
yeah, but I think I would use steroids when I'm an adult, but as a teenager, no. So I think we're gonna wrap up this episode. Come back the next episode to see like how Hollywood damages young minds and makes young teens use steroids and developing mental diseases. And stay tuned, of course. And I think with that, we end up on a good note. So see you the next episode.
So as you heard, guys, stay tuned. Take care of yourself, man.
See ya, dudes.